Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about design skills as a front-end developer and the importance of design skills as a front-end developer. So let's get into it. This viewer of mine commented on one of my old videos about kind of how I in some videos have undersold the importance, or rather from this person's perspective, I have undersold the importance of UI and UX focus as a front-end developer. And basically what I responded by saying is that maybe I have. Maybe to a point I have misrepresented the importance of this aspect here. And this person goes on about saying that, well, some companies don't really know what they want, and sometimes they have bad designs, and you kind of have to give them feedback and all that good stuff. And what I want to tell you here now, guys, is that this is absolutely true. There is absolutely a use for you to have a UI and this kind of design focus when you work as a front-end developer. But the thing that we come back to over and over and over is that the idea that these design skills that you have to be something that is extraordinary is simply not true. Now, what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, most companies at a larger scale, I'm not talking about small-time companies where it's a design firm where you make some static websites or anything like that, or small-scale development. I'm talking about the sort of companies which are true IT companies. They will usually have a team of designers and a team of developers collaborating together in order to produce something. That's usually how it works. And your role in this is to, as a programmer, be the person who builds the thing that the designer designs. Now, there are absolutely paradigms where like the designers want to be more involved in the whole development of the product and the shipping of the feature, because unfortunately design is a lot more complicated than just making something look nice. In order for you to make something usable and feel intuitive and do all these things, you have to really understand the users, you have to understand the use case, the branding of the product. There's all kinds of things that you need to know in order to do that well. And on the flip side, as a programmer, there's depending on the complexity of the product, there's tons of stuff that you need to know as well. And it's actually very hard to find a person who can do both. And time-wise, let's not just even talk about time, because what's interesting is that there seems to be this perception that you can have one person do everything. And absolutely, guys, you can have one person do it all if the thing that you're building is really trivial. If it's really small, no worries, then you can do everything. Then you can have a designer who does the coding, or a programmer with a really good flair for design who does it as well. But usually you don't. So you split up the work. The design department, on average, work as towards like all aspects. Like, they're not just working with you. They're most likely working for several other stakeholders in the company at the same time. Usually there's one design department to many different departments, because design is something that's very universal in the IT industry, in the IT world. So what does that mean for you? Well, this viewer was feedbacking and saying that often I find that, you know, there are oversights in the design. Sometimes customers want things that are bad and I have to be able to guide them and stuff like that. That's great. If you can do all these things, that's great. But I'd like to challenge a little bit here and go out on a limb and just tell you something. Right here, right now. Maybe that is something that is personal to you. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to be so bold as to say that maybe being able to understand, like say a modal, to understand that, all right, you should be able to close it by clicking escape or clicking outside of the box, and maybe alignment, stuff of that nature. These basic design principles are enough. And what we're talking about in this scenario about understanding design and UX and like doing all that stuff might be right for some situations, and sometimes it's not that right. You see, imagine being a customer who has a designer who, or rather a programmer whose questions all the things about the design, or working as being a designer who has a program who questions things. Now you might have a really good back and forth and have a really good productive discussion from that, and that might lead to greater things. But sometimes you need somebody who just will get the job done. Because one thing that you will notice, and this is true for, this kind of goes out to the designers, if you think that you will have creative freedom as a designer, you are shitting yourself. You have no idea how many compromises you will have to make. How often you will build something or make something or create something that you feel is perfect and flawless in every way, and then somebody just comes in and says, yeah, but I want that to be blue. And you have no, it's your boss. Unless you can convince that person that the way that you designed it originally is the way that it should work because it's, you know, it's just right, you're gonna have to change it. You're gonna have to compromise. And the sad fact of it all is that you don't have to have a good user experience to be able to produce an interface. That's the dirty secret. The dirty secret is that you can create an absolute shitty experience for absolutely everybody, and your customer is still gonna pay you. Now that is not what I'm encouraging you to do. I'm saying that the idea that you have to be both a designer and a software developer in order to be a front-end developer is simply not true. You have to have a basic understanding, a working understanding of design principles, and you have to be able to collaborate, and you have to be emotionally stable enough to build something and have people criticize the absolute living shit out of it. Just like a designer. That's actually the thing I think that a front-end developer and a designer really has in common, because the thing is, nobody ever starts questioning what a back-end developer has produced, because as long as it works, they don't care. But if you create an interface, something that people can in a very accessible and easy manner see, touch, or just look at, they will always have feedback for you. They will always have things they want to tweak, things they want to change, and that's where you have to have the emotional stability to just be okay with people not being happy with the thing that you produce and changing it until they are happy. Because at the end of the day, you are a craftsman. You're trying to produce something that will make your customer happy. Now you can absolutely, we can absolutely discuss the semantics about, all right, should I guide my customer, try to help them make better decisions and all that stuff? And you should. If you can, you should absolutely do that. But at some point, and in many circumstances, you're gonna have to compromise. So when it comes to being a front-end developer, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You do not have to have the same level of skill as a designer. Your focus is not to be a designer. Your focus is to know the web platform, being able to produce this code that is necessary to create these more advanced features or these advanced products, and being a really good engineer. Now, having a working understanding of design is very useful, but you don't have to be a designer and a developer. In fact, I will say that on average, being able to collaborate and having a normal level understanding of what good design principles are is going to have you covered 90% of the time. Have a great day.